we've also joined by Ambassador Leela Ponappa. Ambassador Ponappa, could this well be endgame Asim Munir in Pakistan, considering Pakistani air bases from Skardu to Rahim Yar Khan have been bombed, their air defense system lies in tatters? Should India have pressed home the advantage? Because Operation Sindoor was, in a way, India saying enough is enough. But are we, as some argue, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory? We should have pressed home the advantage.
I heard of Casey saying just a few minutes earlier. Namely, the objective in this case was to attack the terrorist bases, and this was done. Now, I don't think we should treat this as a job finished. Frankly, to quote Churchill in another context, this is only the end of the beginning. There is a long haul yet to be undertaken because it requires structural change, attitudinal change, not just within the Pakistan army itself. And there have always been tensions over there between some of the junior officers and the corps commanders and the chief. Uh, there are tensions with the political hierarchy and the leadership, such as it is. And ultimately, of course, it will be for the people of Pakistan, including the jailed Imran Khan and his followers, who do enjoy popularity.
Okay.
So I think at this stage we have reached a certain position. The ceasefire is conditional. The diplomatic decisions remain in place. We will have to calibrate it. It will be a slow process. It will be a long process. As much as at the end of the 1971 war for Bangladesh, the Simla process took all of 5 years
Yes.
to restore normalcy. But that was in another context. This is
Yes.
another context. And we've got to try to calibrate it without triumphalism, but with a very clear resolve that this is the kind of action we will take if India is hurt in the way it was at Pahalgam and at so many other places earlier for the past 30 plus years.
Pakistan has usually been a very unreliable neighbor. You'd recall, Ambassador, that when Pervez Musharraf, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee traveled to Pakistan, Pervez Musharraf said, we will not permit our territory to be used for terror against India. And then we had the 2006 train bombing, when Dr. Manmohan Singh was having this interaction with Musharraf again, we had 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. And then we had Kargil before that, when the Lahore process was on. So each time behind this peace or ceasefire, they are plotting the next attack. Once they get this IMF bailout, will they not be using that same money perhaps to get a better air defense system, to get in more fighter jets, and whatever weaknesses we've exposed in their systems, they will improve upon that and then target us again?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Gaurav. This is exactly what happened after 1971. Within a few years, the troop levels just on the West Pakistan side matched India's troops along the line of control and the international border. So they will certainly do that. And this is why I say it's going to be a long haul. It's not just a question of whether they get a better air defense system or more drones or something of that sort. It's the nature of the Pakistan state. Now, we are into, I think, sort of tectonic situations with regard to the structures of nation states. And it's not just with Pakistan, it's happening in Europe, it's happening elsewhere. And it's noticeable because the old rules, the old norms, the old expectations no longer hold good. So we have got to anticipate what next. And we have to, as I said, desist from triumphalism. We have to be cool and collected and stay resolved in terms of our objective at each stage. Now, you had the kind of action we got last night, the night before, and actually Pakistan's escalation at every stage. And
Exactly.
the other pointer here is many people will take credit for the ceasefire. But let's not fall into that trap of saying, well, X or Y did the friendly thing. It was India's demonstrated resolve that led Pakistan's self admitted friends to tell them, don't be foolish and call it off.
Okay. Okay. Now, that's the point I was actually coming to, because many would argue that, and will Pakistan in their own country try to sell it as India's friend, United States sought a ceasefire, so we agreed to a ceasefire, when the reality is that Pakistan was decimated militarily, though it sought to escalate. It tried some posturing, but even within Pakistan, there is this realization their Fateh missile failed, their air force failed, their army failed, and their air bases all the way from POJK down to Rahim Yar Khan in Pakistan's proper Punjab were decimated. Muridke and Bahawalpur were targeted. Sialkot was targeted. It just shows we had the advantage. Should we not have pressed home even harder? You know, we've been bleeding for 4 decades and longer, and we just stop it on day 3.
The point is, what do you want at the end of it? What would the military objective have been? Because in military operations, you need a very clear cut military objective. You can't go in vaguely. It needs to be quick and surgical, and you need an end game as well. Right now, the stated military objective, and I don't question that at all, was to hit the terrorist bases. This was done. This is not the end of this exercise. There is a long haul ahead, which will require sitting down with those from the Pakistan side who are willing to sit down with you and are capable of delivering. Now, they may not be capable of delivering. This too we have seen in the past. Bhutto promised all, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto promised all kinds of
Exactly.
things, and the man was hung at the end of it. But we've got to be clear. I think there are many messages in what we have seen in Operation Sindoor. One is, of course, the message to Pakistan, thus far and no further, and we will retaliate for every escalatory step that you take. That has been demonstrated. Secondly, to our own people, it has been demonstrated that we will give our armed forces what they need. I have often publicly stated on your channel and on other channels, India is
Yes.
underspent on its defense. We
Oh,
are
absolutely.
apologetic about our requirements. This must never again be the case, because let's face it, we are alone. We have to fight our battles alone. We are too big a country to expect somebody else to come to our rescue. The
Yeah.
message to the international community is that, you know, this the advocacy of, oh well, you know, both sides should de-escalate, we are friends with both sides and so on. Sorry, you've got to call you've got to call a spade when it is
Okay.
obvious as to where the source of the trouble is.
Oh,
And this
absolutely.
again comes down to India's diplomatic resolve. Fourth message has to go to the Pakistani people. And there are ways of doing it. You're a media person, and it has been done before, to point out that this was not a situation of India's choosing. It was a situation of of Pakistan's making of a few people within the deep state, which has caused this kind of harm. Which is why it's very important that the decisions on the Indus Waters Treaty remain in place, that it be
That's the
demonstrated
point I
that
wanted to come to.
that
The
India
fact that
does
we are
not
still holding
wish to
the
harm
Indus Waters Treaty
Pakistan,
in
but at the
abeyance.
same time, that India will be firm in its resolve. And things have to change. There's no question about that.
So we're doing the right thing by holding Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance, and if there is ever a renegotiation, it has to be on our terms for more water for us. You know, and clearly now Pakistan is in no position to say, you know, there are people like the defense minister saying, if India builds a dam, we'll bomb it, and words to that effect. Now they know if they attempt to bomb it, they'll be bombed to Stone Age, in your appreciation?
You know, one particular contradiction in the Indus Waters Treaty, and in fact in India's water arrangements with its other neighbors as well, including Bangladesh, is that we have been seen as an upper riparian, and we ourselves have considered ourselves an upper riparian. In actual fact, we are a middle
With the
riparian.
lower, middle riparian,
We are
absolutely.
a middle riparian.
Tibet,
There is
yes.
China, which has zero water sharing arrangements with any of its downstream neighbors. So, therefore, when we seek to renegotiate the terms of the Indus Waters Treaty, uh, I'm not suggesting that we do a Versailles. I'm not suggesting that we go for the jugular in terms of creating a greater problem for ourselves. but
Okay.
equally, it has to be workable for both sides.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. Ambassador Leela Ponappa for joining me here on India Today. Many thanks. And